All right, welcome.
Thanks so much. Thanks for
coming.
Not a problem.
Welcome to RGTV.
I want to welcome you to RGTV. This is the first episode, and you're actually our first guest.
Yes,
So
I love it.
this is like groundbreaking, like breaking news, like, you know, flashing, like attention. You know, so again, I definitely want to thank you for coming through. And I think the people will be interested in, you know, what you have to say, what you have to offer. So just to get things started, we have a thing called Who Is? And so you are our first guest, but I haven't said your name, so tell the people, who are you? What is your name? Who are you?
I am Marissa Licata, actually raised in Jersey, so really happy to be here in Clifton. I'm a musician. I'm a violinist, but I like to say musician first because although I have spent pretty much my entire life being a violinist, it's all about being a musician in the end. And I work with a lot of different artists, singers, rappers, doesn't matter, name it, you name it, and I've worked with them, and it's all helped make me a better musician as a whole, and as well as expanding my violin playing too.
So you've kind of touched on what I was going to ask you next, because now that we kind of understand, you know, who you are, pretty much, I mean, what is it that you do? I mean, obviously, you've noticed, you've made mention that you are a violinist, but just tell the people a little bit about what it is specifically that you do.
Specifically, what I do is, well, I enjoy a lot of different styles of music. So I've grown up with a lot of different tastes, from Latin music to dance hall to jazz, John Coltrane. You know, you can name the big names, and I've really grown up on a lot of it with many different influences. And what my style of music, I guess you'd call it world music. I play a lot of folk music from, 14th, 15th century. So it's not new by any means, but at the same time, it's almost so old that it is new now, because especially in this country, we really aren't as aware as we claim we are in certain types of music from different parts of the world. And so what I do is I incorporate a lot of different styles with that. You know, maybe we'll have a Latin beat over a traditional Bulgarian tune. You know, a Latin beat that is traditionally in 4/4, maybe we'll put it and make it have 7 beats in a measure. You know, without getting too in depth about it, that's sort of the fusion that I do, while keeping the tradition and traditional instruments in many cases of the original, Eastern European styles.
So it's interesting you say that, and based on your explanation, I can tell, or I at least get the impression that you have formal musical training. Would that be accurate? I myself am a percussionist. I've been, playing the drums most of my life, and I've had professional training. Majored in it in college, and so music has always been a part of me from being in youth orchestras as a young child to playing the different jazz styles and things of that nature. So tell us a little bit about your formal training and kind of what is it about it that you enjoy most?
Well, let me start with what I enjoy most, because I'll probably forget it if I don't talk about it now. Yes, I was classically trained for about 16, 17 years, and what I enjoy most about having such a strong technical base is that I feel like I can do anything. There's really nothing that I can't do. That I've played the hardest, quote unquote, the hardest repertoire out there, the longest repertoire out there. I've just got had so much training from a young age that I go into every situation, even if I'm not 100% comfortable or familiar with a certain style. I trust in the fact that I've had my ear and I have technical skill that that I've used in so many different settings. So I really go in with a lot of confidence. So I enjoy that very much. As far as my actual background, sort of the chronology of it, I started playing violin at 3 years old. I was doing the preparatory division in Boston at the New England Conservatory. My parents and I, we moved out here to the New York area, and I continued my education at the prep schools, Manhattan School of Music. Also had some affiliation with Juilliard Pre-College. So I've always had a high level of classical training. You know, you definitely got the well-rounded musical education there for sure. Another thing that's really important to mention is that my father was a huge influence to me. He's a jazz saxophonist and composer, and he's absolutely phenomenal. And he's a teacher as well. And so although he didn't directly teach me how to play my instrument, he was such an influence from giving me the music to listen to, what is good, and from trying to achieve a sound that he wanted to hear and that, you know, he developed me to want to hear as well. So through a sort of father-daughter musical relationship, I also developed a personal style through that. I then went to 4 more years of prep school at New England Conservatory from about ages 14 to 18. And then continued on to do my undergrad and master's degrees, bachelor and master's degrees at New England Conservatory as well. So I've had a long history with that school in Boston, and it's been great. And I did some of my best creative work and creative thinking there.
It's interesting, you know, anytime I meet other musicians of any sort, they're from all walks of life, but, you know, we all have that common thing in common, which is the love for the music. And it's interesting just listening to a little bit of your story. We actually share certain similarities because my dad as well, you know, was a big influence on me. He is also a teacher. He's also, he plays a lot of different instruments, but his primary instrument is the trumpet. And, you know, a lot of that inspiration and I guess initial push, you know, to even want to get into music was from seeing him and being around him and, you know, being young and being around the bands that he was around playing for when I was younger. And so, you know, it helped definitely mold me as an individual as well as a musician. So kind of having that be the segue to the next question, just, you know, what are some of the things that inspire you as an artist, as an individual, and kind of what gives you that drive, that push to keep going?
Well, a lot inspires me, but in a nutshell, people who are masters of what they do, doesn't matter, you know, what it is that they do. That really inspires me, you know, because my mother, for example, not a musician, definitely likes music, but not a musician at all. She works in the corporate world, and she and I have had many discussions and the differences between how we've grown up and how we execute doing well at what we do. And for her, she told me, she said, you know, I'm really great at what I do, Marissa, you know, and I know she is. Things don't get done without this woman, you know. And that too has inspired me a lot, but she's like, I'm really great at what I do, as I feel I'm great at what I do. But she said, you know, Marissa, I can't actually say that I'm passionate about it. And she, you know, says, you know, it's amazing that you are able to be great and also be passionate about it. And there's a huge difference. between being really good at what you do and knowing it, having the confidence and feeling very accomplished doing that, and then being passionate about it. And not all careers, not all jobs are have that built in as music does. And so anybody, so to get back to my initial answer, anybody who's great at what they do inspires me. And it inspires me to be more passionate about what I do, because we have the opportunity as musicians to actually be passionate, to actually be great, but to share and change in ways that others don't. You know, technical discipline inspires me. Discipline is something, a quality that it's just so attractive. I mean, you can't get around it. And you can tell immediately when someone has discipline and when they just don't. And not to say that they're not going to be successful, but it is something that I am really attuned to and recognize, and inspires me. So although sometimes I'm not as disciplined as I'd like to be, I know I have it in me. And just to have it is something that's really great. And then as far as other people who have actually inspired me, I mean, I look to athletes, actually. I feel that music is so physical, and it's such a physical presentation, but also you're at the end of a 2-hour show and you're sweating like a pig, and you're looking for the last ounce of energy to really build up. And you know, to say it might not sound like it's a physical thing, but you're using tons of energy and just so much physical energy. So I really look to athletes, you know. I look to some of the really great Soviet gymnasts, and they actually inspire me quite a bit, just in movement and dance and overall ability to really be one with their art.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you bring up gymnasts, because when I think of gymnasts, I think of, you know, freeness, and like you said, just being one with what it is that they do. They're so into it and they're so passionate about it. So it's interesting you say that. Wow. I mean, you know, you definitely have a lot to offer. I think the people they're feeding for more. I hope you're feeding for more. I mean, she's lovely, she's professional. You know, what else could you ask for? We're definitely gonna have much more with Marissa, but we're gonna take a short break. We have a little libations. So we're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be more with Marissa. You are tuned in to RGTV.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Just drop it.